thinking about like the actual investor selection and of all of the capital that is now out there, right? There's this sense, at least in the market, that there's a lot of capital out there waiting to find the right founders. How would you advise or frame that search of finding the right partners, especially for founders who maybe have a little bit of optionality, especially in those sorts of situations?
Sure. So, this is a privileged conversation and question, actually, because there are folks who are just like, look, whoever I can get money, that's what I need to do. So I'm always a big believer, like, you've got to do what you've got to do. But if you have an option, for me, one thing that's really important is just get to know people as people. All investors are human beings, and some of us are assholes, and some of us are more aligned with values that you have. And I really think that if you look at us as equals and as humans, you'll start to like think about, do I want this person to be in my life for 7+ years? Because there's a stat that says, like, literally your relationship with your VC is likely to outlast the average length of a marriage in the US, which is around 7 years. So being able to have the opportunity to meet investors as humans, understanding their values, are they aligned with yours? All that stuff is really important in my book, because you want someone who's going to be a good human in the good and the bad times, because there's going to be a lot of those ups and downs. Before that, though, I would say doing your homework and creating a target list. So everybody knows, I just shared it at the beginning of the call, that my background is sales, and I do sales and I love sales. And fundraising is a big sales activity where you have to have a target list. You have to have like your strategy, and then you have to go after them and see who you can close, right? And the difference with fundraising is, well, what are some of these levers of how you build your list and what's in it? So typically these levers have to be, well, what stage VCs are investing in? Are there particular sectors? Are there particular geographies? Are there particular check sizes? Do they have some investors have caps? So they'll say, like, if the valuation is above this, I'm not going to do it, especially in early stage, like pre-seed, seed. So you have to look at these different categories and ask yourself, which investors out there fit who my company is? So that you don't waste your time. So you can do this research on Crunchbase, I really like NFX Signal, their database, but you have to build your list one way or another, right? And so you build your list, and you may actually just know as far as like what the fund focuses on, and then it goes into like really pay attention to within that fund who's going to make most sense, who's crazy about the space that you're a part of, not just because you want to target the right person to sell to, right, to invest in you, but also because honestly, at the end of the day, if you just give capital, that's great. But even better is when you can get capital and you can have an additional human being that's added to your team in one way or another. Can they help you with recruiting? Can they help you with strategy? Can they help you with distribution? Can they help you help make introductions for new sales? What else can they add to your company and to you? In terms of that funding. So you take that structure, right? So you make sure you have the right kind of funds that match where you are with your startup and what you want to do. Then you look at the individual investors and you see how they can help you. And then that's really when you're able to really focus and have that ideal match. Now, I'm talking about like in an ideal world, this is what happens, and then you end up with like the perfect match. However, things can get really messy, and some of this information is not out there, so you might have to spend time. But this is probably the most efficient way to not waste time, because you would have done some pre-work that allows you to, not waste time talking to investors that are just not a good fit. I can tell you on a day-to-day basis, I get pitches from all types. And I'm just like, how did they think that this was something even remotely interesting, or that I even know anything about? Because also on the investor side, Ideally, I want to also add value, not just sign a check.